Well, new at 11 tonight, we're hearing from one of the attorneys for Ahmaud Arbery's family after two of the three men charged in Arbery's killing are now seeking bond. So we told you yesterday that attorneys for Travis and Gregory McMichael, father and son, filed motions seeking bond for their clients. Arbery was killed in February in a Georgia neighborhood after the McMichaels reportedly pursued him in their truck while he was running in the neighborhood. Now, according to that police report, Gregory said they thought Arbery was a burglar and that Arbery attacked Travis before Travis shot Arbery. The McMichaels and the third man, William Roddy Bryan, pleaded not guilty to the 9 charges against each of them, including malice murder in July. A judge denied all three men bond at that hearing. Arbery's family attorney, Ben Crump, says Arbery's father wants the men to spend the rest of their lives in jail.
And Ahmaud Arbery's family is adamant that they should not get a bail because they believe, as do I, if the shoe was on the other foot and Ahmaud would have chased them down and lynched them in broad daylight, that he would not have been given a bail.
Attorneys for all three of the men charged also filed motions asking for 2 charges, malice murder and criminal attempt to commit a felony, to be dropped. Now, according to the motions, the charges have more than one allegation, which they write is illegal. Crump says the family believes all of the charges are appropriate.